everyone, what's up? Genesiz here, and I'm here to talk a little bit about autism. I've written a paper with more information if you want to learn a little bit more. It has different words, vocabulary, links for you to learn more information. Okay? Thank you. Also, I wanted to touch on a little bit that happens in the community. I've noticed that the media the media doesn't show autism, deafness, or other disabilities the right way. It's wrong. It's not correct. No. And I wanted to talk about why it's so hard to get the right diagnosis. Girls have a harder time getting diagnosed. I was 3 years old the first time I got diagnosed, and that is early, yes. But girls don't get diagnosed with autism until between the ages of 4 and 15 years old. But boys get diagnosed early between the ages of 18 months and 3 years old. I didn't know that I had autism. I was never treated differently. Nobody told me. I was diagnosed again as an adult. A lot of women now are finding out that they have autism in their early to mid 20s. And that's because girls have better coping skills and they can kind of mask their behaviors better than boys, so it's harder to get the right diagnosis. A lot of the time it's confused for anxiousness, anxiety, nervousness, being mean, loud, especially for Black women. People see us as loud, rude, mean, lazy, anxious, but never would think that maybe we have autism. I'm really quiet a lot of the time, and people think that that means I think I'm better than them. No, I don't think that at all. I promise. But that's how Black women and girls are seen. People think that. But Black children are underdiagnosed or misdiagnosed or even killed. They're killed for their behavior because they go and grow up without a proper diagnosis. White children, white children get diagnosed 19 to 65% more than Black people or people of color. That's right. Yes. And another thing is communication. Communication with disabled people is really important. And now in a lot of schools, autistic and even some deaf people are being forced to talk. It's forced oralism. And people think that oralism, the ability to speak, means that you are more educated, more knowledgeable than someone that doesn't talk. So, autistic children are being forced to not use their AAC, which is their alternative communication devices, like um, a tablet or pictures that they can touch, point to. Other things that keep them from having to use oralism or words, because a lot of autistic and deaf children can't speak. But now in schools, children are being forced not to sign, which is another way of communication for non-verbal nonverbal children. They're being restrained and can't move. If they have a meltdown, if they get mad or upset, um, they're being told, use your words. Explain to me what's happening. Tell me. A lot of children can't. I'm an adult and I can't always verbalize what's happening with me. And that will usually make the situation worse, more anxiety and fighting. And people don't realize that they're making the situation worse by yelling or restraining someone. They even sit on the children sometimes. They sit, they restrain them, they isolate them in a room alone. That's not safe or a positive way to help. What else did I want to say? Oh, a lot of autistic women, girls, children, they do something called code or task switching. That means what? That means they change their behavior, their language, their body language, and attitude for for different kinds of situations, people, school, work, to fit in and be accepted better. So a lot of that is why girls and women don't get the right diagnosis. Bilingual children and people, they also code switch to try to fit in better. It's hard. Now, in the media, people with mental disabilities, autism, deafness, were usually portrayed as slow, just wondering, watching, blissfully unaware. We're either really happy or really emotional, like angry, crying all the time. That's true sometimes, but not always. And to get a real experience or portrayal, they need to find actors, actors that have these disabilities. I I don't even really know how to say that in a better way because the disabled community has really been saying that forever now. But kids in schools are being killed because of not having the right communication or their teachers not having the right skills to handle the situation. Police kill mentally disabled or autistic adults because they don't know the signs. They they don't see, they don't know how to handle the situation. And I just wanted to say that it's harder for children that don't get help because those children grow up to be autistic and deaf and disabled adults. We need resources too. We need the media to show us the right way so people understand a little bit better on what it's really like. And Black people really need more help. Black kids are underdiagnosed 3 to 5 years later with autism than white kids. And the assumption is because white people have better medical, better schools, more money. So, because we are poor and broke, we get misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed and no help. I get no help for my autism. My mental health is my own. I have to learn to cope and handle different situations different ways. And a lot I don't verbalize. Like, I have selective mutism. In different situations, if I can't handle the stress, it's like my brain just shuts down and I can't think, I can't focus, I can't find the words to say anything. And people will look at me and say, "What are you, stupid?" That has happened a lot in my life, but that's part of my autism. So I just wanted to share a little bit. You know, we need more positive ways to communicate with AAC devices, which can be a tablet, phone, pictures, whatever. Positive adults having skills, positive, right skills to handle it. We need better representation in the media. We need better doctors understanding. Um, we need realization that everyone's autisms and disabilities look different. Not everyone's experience is the same. And we need better coping and handling skills in the schools, because so many children are dying because of restraints. No, stop it. I I just wanted to say my part, say my part on it. I hope it helps. And thank you for listening. Don't forget to check the paper that I wrote if you want a little more information. Thank you. See you later.